one thing that we get asked a lot is Wendy a real person? Yes, she is. There's no reason for you to believe me because you haven't seen her yet. But she's a real person, and you know, hopefully you'll get to meet her soon. Born in Tibet, and moved to Shanghai with her mum and dad. Her mum was a cardiologist, her dad was a doctor, and they wanted her to go into medicine. So she went into the chemistry degree, found things a bit boring, and then went off to Australia. And when she was in Australia, she met a chap who I think was Australian, and they were just about to embark on a month's journey to China. And he then was promoted to a job, and he said, look, I'm not going to come traveling with you. And she said, Wendy being Wendy, said, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to use your ticket up. And she put an advert in the local newspaper and said, I speak Mandarin, I'm going to go to China. If anybody wants to come with me, I'll be your guide for free. And that's her story. And within sort of you know, a couple of weeks, she had a couple of people writing to her, and she took, I think, 3 or 4 people to China and was her guide, and did this a couple of times. When she was out there, she met a guy who is still with the business now, and he became her local DMC, if you like, in a very small way. So what happened? Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. Nice to meet you.
Mary O'Sullivan, Sunday
Nice to see you, Mary. Welcome. I'm John.
Tim.
And there's a glass there for you. Glass above you. Anyway, so within 5 years of putting an advert in Australia to invite people to go with her, for her to be their guide for free, Wendy became the biggest tour operator to China from Australia. And currently, 18 years on, is still the biggest tour operator to China from Australia.
How many do you carry from Australia to China?
A similar number to the UK, slightly more, about 10,000. So 10 years ago, she then came over to the UK and did exactly the same thing. And you know, currently we are the biggest tour operator to China from the UK as well. But actually this year we've become the biggest tour operator to Japan from the UK as well. I'll talk a bit more about Japan. So in terms of Ireland, firstly, thank you for your support over the last couple of years. We've had a great success story in Ireland. This is our 2nd year. We started with nothing, with a brochure, and you know, luckily we have also John Booter here, who's very well known in the industry, and he's done the work the hard way, really, just going out, knocking on agents and doing some training and talking about our product. You know, we have exclusive offers that we've brought to the market throughout the year, and on top of that, we believe that we have an exclusive product, a fully inclusive product, which gives our customers peace of mind. So if a customer travels with us, as I think 1 or 2 of you have done, what happens is you arrive at an airport, the guide is waiting for you, the guide waits for you and stays with you for the whole duration. So when you travel on certain of our tours, you have to fly between certain cities. So you fly between, on the Majestic Yangtze for example, you fly between Shanghai and Yichang. The guide checks you in and is also on the same flight as you. So your guide will stay with you for the whole duration. In China, as you know, very few people speak English, everybody speaks Mandarin. Going out, asking directions, forget it, you've got no chance. So the guide stays with you for the whole duration, so there's peace of mind there. And then when you travel, you arrive in a new city, we also give you a local guide who's an expert on the terracotta warriors, on the Great Wall, and so on and so forth. So everything's inclusive, all your food, breakfast, lunch and dinner. The Chinese domestic market is growing immensely. You have places like Jiuzhaigou, 9 Villages Valley, which attracts over 5 million tourists a year, mostly domestic. And the reason I'm saying this is when you arrive to this place, if you were traveling on your own, it would take you a day to get a ticket, to queue up to get a ticket. When you go on our tours, the ticket's already there. So you just turn up and the guide takes you right to the front and off you go. So we have kind of a different proposition. So this has helped in terms of the work that John's done. We have certain agents now that are doing group tours with us. We've got agents taking groups of 30, 20, and you know, the more agents that know about us. And the plan always is to keep doubling the numbers. So from last year, the target is to double for 2017, and we're well on track to achieve that number. and we'll do exactly the same next year as well.
From Ireland, what are your figures?
From Ireland, what we're chasing at the moment is about 250 passengers for this year. Last year we did over €500,000. Bearing in mind it's our first year. This year we'll do over €1 million worth of business and more, because we're on track to hit our target.